just to make you aware of that, the recording will be posted after it's edited onto the webpage. We most likely will edit out the question section, but we want for folks who weren't able to join us today because of prior obligations to at least be able to hear the presentation and gather that information. For those of you who said it was okay for us to publish your information when you registered, we will do that. We will make it available to the attendees who also agree to that. During this meeting, before we have the dedicated Q&A segment, if you have any questions and you just kind of can't hold on to them, or you want to make sure that we address them, if you can use the chat feature, and then we get to the open questions and answers, we will go back and forth between folks who've unmuted themselves and then questions that we have in the chat. If for some reason we can answer those questions throughout the segment, there's a dedicated person kind of monitoring the chat, we will do so. But if we think it's a really great question that others may have as well, we'll make sure that we highlight that. There is going to be a dedicated question and answer segment at the end. Our hope is to only talk to you and share information for about 30 to 35 minutes. And then we're hoping to kind of open the floor to gather your questions and concerns, either based on the information we provided today or other questions that you may have for about 30 minutes. We're looking to wrap up about 7 o'clock. There will be an exit poll on your way out. You're going to hear me say that more than once because it's really important that we're able to gather some information from you, some very specific to the presentation in terms of additional information you need to consider yourself having the amount of information to be successful as part of this process, and then a little bit of information about our efforts so that we can make sure we're making the best use of your time and giving you information that you find to be valuable and useful. If you are having technical difficulties, while we are not Zoom experts, we do have Chad Williams that you can chat. You can just kind of look up his name and he will try to the best of his ability to field your question or respond. If you happen to be joining us via phone, and I know there are a few folks who are, to unmute yourself or to mute yourself, you simply press *6, and to raise your hand because you have a question during the QA, you would press *9. So that gives you a little bit of background about our housekeeping. I'm going to walk through the agenda slide and then introduce Olivia. So during today's meeting, we're hoping to introduce you to the team, the specific team for BPG, as well as some of us who have been deployed by BPG on their behalf to work specifically on the FNB project, but they're also going to talk about future opportunities. So that's the current and future opportunities. There's also going to be a discussion about paths to participation, so making it plain and simple to understand how you as an MBE business or WBE business or another designation can participate on the current project that's in front of us today with the tower. There's a little bit of information about training and resources. So during our initial vetting calls, a lot of you did hear from EO Holdings. We asked you a lot of questions about things you're interested in, about your business, but also specifically about trainings or resources that you feel would help you be more successful. And so we brought some of those individuals or organizations to the call today to talk about those trainings and resources, and I think that you will find that information valuable. And last but not least, what we chatted about earlier is this opportunity for you to ask questions and for us, to the best of our ability, to provide those answers. And if we can't provide an answer today, then we'll be sure to get back to you in a reasonable time with that answer. And so without further ado, I asked Olivia to pronounce her name for me before we started this after months of working together, and I still don't have it down pat. So I'm going to introduce Olivia from the Bacini Polling Group.
Thanks, Danae. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Grunzik. I'm with the Bacini Polling Group, the commercial developer of the Lower Hill redevelopment. So quick introduction into what I do. So I'm the project coordinator, which essentially means that I'm involved in many different aspects of the project, from contracting, construction, marketing, reporting, etc. I support many different efforts to ensure that things run smoothly. So for those of you that don't know, like I mentioned before, BPG is the commercial developer of the Lower Hill, and we signed the Community Collaboration and Implementation Plan, or CCIP for short, prior to starting the project. Next slide. The CCIP is an agreement that was developed by Hill District residents to address their concerns related to the redevelopment of the 28-acre site. It covered 7 different focus areas, some of which include wealth building, cultural and community legacy, job creation, etc. But today we're mostly focusing on the focus area of minority and women-owned business inclusion. So the CSIP outlines a goal of 30% minority business inclusion and 15% women business inclusion. Next slide, please. So although we've yet to put shovels in the ground as of today, there's been tremendous efforts by many different people to push this project forward. As you'll see on the screen, the project team has grown and will continue to grow as we keep advancing. You'll see that everyone highlighted in this slide is or has been a Hill District resident. Next slide, please. So where are we now? You'll see that from 2018 to now, we've primarily been in the pre-development phase, focused on identifying minority and women-owned businesses in and around the Pittsburgh area. Specific to G1, or the FNB Financial Center, a design team has already been established and is currently working on the design now. Bidding for construction is happening now through the next upcoming weeks, and we plan to take ownership of the land in June. And the first construction crew is scheduled to arrive Q3 of 2021. Next slide, please. So for pre-development specifically, essentially meaning the contracts needed prior to construction, we've been working hard to establish commitments with minority and women-owned businesses. As of today, we're around 42% for MWBE contracts with around 500 MWBE businesses identified. We've been using the approach to utilize Hill District businesses first, and then if our need is not found there, we would look for MWBEs in and around the Pittsburgh area. Next slide, please. So something I wanted to touch on is, although today we're primarily talking about parcel G1 for the FNB Financial Center, if your business does not end up working on G1, there are still plenty of opportunities throughout the life of the whole development. You can see Block G is just one of the many projects that come out of this whole endeavor. Our proposed projects on the site include things like a music venue, food hall, and many other projects that are not yet designed. The database of interested minority and women-owned businesses that we've compiled over the last 2 years will be utilized on all future projects. So just something to note in terms of scheduling for those upcoming projects, it's hard to say exactly when those will come online, but because this is based mostly on obtaining tenants for those spaces and the agreements with those tenants, as soon as we know that information, we'll make it available to the public. Next slide, please. I already touched on a lot of this information, so this kind of outlines the 42% that I was talking about and the strategy to utilize Hill District businesses first and then go outside of Pittsburgh. Next slide, please. These are some of the different future opportunities that I was talking about. And then go on to the next slide. So talking about current opportunities now, we're just starting bidding for the first development parcel, which is the 26-story core and shell construction of FNB Financial Center. So I'll give it to Teresa from PJ Dick to talk about the path to participation.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Teresa Giacomino with PJ Dick. I'm the CSIP manager for the project. So basically, I've been gathering all the information, working on bid scopes with our operational team, all in the efforts to meet our CSIP goals that Olivia introduced earlier, and we'll touch briefly on as we go through the slides. Currently, we have bid packages coming up, which are predominantly general requirements, site work, both plumbing, electrical, as well as everything from the outside of the building coming up. And those informational sessions are coming up on the 20th. You go into the next slide. So the FNB Financial Center is 26 stories, core and shell construction. 22 floors of office space. There's parking garage, there's lobby and retail, and open spaces and plazas that Olivia touched on. As I was saying, June 7th, we're releasing the next bid package of general construction, site work, the concrete, structural waterproofing, elevators, MEP and fire protection. And July, we'll wrap up with the roofing, interiors, exterior site, and the final cleaning. Next, please. This is kind of the timeline. It just reiterates what Olivia had said. Basically, October of 21, everything should be commencing, getting through to the end of the building of February 2024. If there's any opportunities we can to accelerate the schedule, we will be looking for those opportunities. Next. So then I believe, Janae, you're going to speak a little bit here on the upcoming information session and where we can register and everything.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. So as Teresa kind of alluded to early in the conversation, PJ Dick is starting to collect, or we'll start to bid out packages, and we are going to do an information session around those June packages that she previously mentioned. That information session is this Thursday at 3 o'clock. So a key question, so how do I get invited? So we need you to contact us and let us know that you'd be interested in those packages. Several of you should have received emails from us confirming packages that we had you down to be interested in, asking, are you interested in package 1B? Are you interested in package 8A? The absence of a response, we assume that you agree with how we've organized you. However, if you've received that email and didn't have a moment to look it over or haven't found it, if you can reach out to us and let us know, because it's going to be really important to make sure that not only that you participate in this upcoming bidder session in this week that walks through those bid packages, but each bid package thereafter will have a much smaller invited session that Teresa will chat about. And so it's going to be really important for you to gather that information, so to speak, on the ground floor. I'm going to give it back to Teresa because she's going to talk a little bit about the MWBE requirements, and I'm pretty sure she's going to answer, as part of that discussion, the current question we have in the chat about a WBE supplier. Teresa.
Yes, thank you, Janae. So the M&W requirements, if you go to the next slide, please. So again, 30% minority business and 15% women business participation is the goal according to the CSIP plan. Additionally, there is a job creation local inclusion goal. So 20% of the new hires in minority labor workforce, the local residents of the Greater Hill District community are the priority for new hires. And then we would go outside of the Greater Hill District community. And as part of all the bidding requirements, there are tons of forms and information people need to fill out. So as Janae was alluding to, going on the website, filling out your data if you haven't already. And I noticed some participants, you've already inputted your data. Some of us have already reached out to you. That helps get the database and publish your information on the landing page so that people can go to you if you offer certain services. Next slide, please. So as far as counting for participation, if you're an M or W company and you directly subcontract with PJ Dick, your contract value is worth 100% of the value to count towards our goals. And we are also encouraging that even beyond that, that you would push down those same goals to the tiers below you, suppliers, transportation, other subs if they're performing work on your behalf. Other opportunities are joint venture teams. So if you're minority or W and you join up with another company, if you are greater than or equal to 51% of that partnership, 100% of that contract counts. However, if you're 50% or less, the value contracted to you accounts towards those participation goals. And then again, we encourage the flow down of those participation guidelines down through your tiers. And then first tier subcontracts, if you're an M or W and you go underneath a non 100% paid to you is part of the participation. And if you do supply of materials or trucking and transportation, 100% of the subcontract value to you will be counted towards the goals. Next, please. So the next part of this has to talk about union participation. So PJ Dick is signatory to 5 trade unions: carpenters, laborers, cement finishers, operators, and the iron workers on the rebar only side. So basically what it is saying is, to have a direct contract with PJ Dick, you would need to have a labor agreement with one of those trade unions in particular. And coming up after me will be 2 individuals with the unions that will briefly describe that, as well as we're going to have future meetings for non-union companies on how to get to those kinds of agreements. And those scheduled meetings will have a little more information in a few other slides, as well as information is already on that Lower Hill Redevelopment webpage that's up on your screen. And again, it's very important to complete the exit poll of this session in order to identify which one of those you may be interested in attending. And there'll be future ones outside of these scheduled as we gain interest from all the companies so that you can meet with each of the trade unions. Next, please. And so now I'll pass on. I'm not sure, Dave, if you wanted to speak first, or Tom, take it away. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Teresa. My name is Dave D'Aquilente. I'm with the Master Builders Association. I appreciate the invitation this evening to speak with you all. Tom Melcher, who's the business manager for the building trades, the Pittsburgh Regional Council of Building Trades, is on with us this evening as well. Our contact information is on your screen, and both of us would welcome the opportunity to speak with you about any questions you may have regarding this or other opportunities in union construction. So as you can see on the slide here this evening, we're not going to take up a lot of your time, but we do want to touch on the long-standing history of really successful collaborative working relationship here in Western Pennsylvania between labor and management. Our organization, the Master Builders Association, goes back into March of 1886. We're 135 years old and continues as strong as ever today. We represent over 35 general contractors in the Western Pennsylvania market. We represent over 90 subcontractors. Specialty contractors is the category of our membership here. And as is mentioned in the second bullet point there, the tripartite engagement is something that we really feel is critical to the long-term success here. And this entire Lower Hill redevelopment is a prime example of that. The 3 legs of a stool, or if you think about a tricycle compared to a unicycle or even a bicycle, is far more sturdy and successful than a single or a double leg of that stool. I would like to turn it over, excuse me, a little bit to Tom Melcher here, just to touch on the labor agreements component of this and the industry support and training. Obviously, as Teresa had mentioned earlier, we've got some upcoming information sessions that will be scheduled out over the next few weeks, creating an opportunity for those who are interested to talk with, have conversations, ask questions, open and honest dialogue with leaders from our various building trade unions. I think it's a tremendous opportunity to look at your business and the direction that you're taking, and if becoming signatory to one of these or multiple labor unions is the right next business step for you. Obviously, our organization represents contractors, and therefore we'd love to work with you and help you continue down your path as a successful contractor, not just for this Lower Hill redevelopment in its totality, but also obviously as we have lots of other sectors within this market and our industry that are really taking off, and we see tremendous growth in the next few years. Tom, would you like to touch on a few of those points?
Sure. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on the call here. Just to clear up a little things that David touched on. With different minority contractors who would like to get involved with our trades, they would have to talk to the business manager, whatever trade they're interested in getting to it, and agree to a labor agreement with that particular union, which is it's not like a one job agreement, you would say. It's really not that difficult a procedure to go through, but that would have to be discussed with each individual business manager of those individual trades. The building trades, we represent over 50,000 labor guys that are men and women that are involved with the business. Our training, our pre-apprentice training we have going on right now for the last couple of years, it's been called Introductory into the Construction Trades. And the program was set up especially for the Hill District for this particular job that's coming up. So far in 2020, we had 77 people graduate, and 75% of those men and women are already working or have been placed into an apprenticeship program. Mostly all of the participants are from the Hill District. So we were really gearing up for this project so we could meet these numbers that are required. And also this year, we also already have another session started where you have 23 participations. So we're moving forward with all that towards the Hill District development. And by the way, all our trades, they have organizers. We have partnered up with Pittsburgh Public Schools and the Penguins. We're going to start getting some of our curriculum into these schools so we can train these young people, you know, junior and senior year to particularly what kind of trade they would like to get themselves involved in. Help school them so they're ready to take a test when they get out of school. So with that, that's all I guess I have to say right now, though. But we're looking forward to working with everybody. And I've talked to the other, most of the business managers of all the trades, and they're open to more discussions.
Thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate that. I appreciate Janae moving to that next slide here with the upcoming union info sessions. We've got tremendous opportunity if you haven't had access to or felt you weren't sure who to reach out to. We're providing the right individuals, as Tom had mentioned. Business managers, agents, representatives will be available during these info sessions. Each session will begin at 4 p.m. on the date. For the laborers union, it'll be June 2nd. Cement finishers, the cement masons, will be on June 3rd. The carpenters union will be June 7th, and the operating engineers union will be June 8th, with the last info session being for the ironworkers local 3 being held on June 11th. Again, all sessions will begin at 4 p.m. and please follow the link at the bottom of this presentation here to go ahead and register for those upcoming opportunities. Teresa, is there anything you'd like to touch on before we?
Thank you very much, and Tom, that was great. Outside of Janae, the exit poll, I believe, asked them the interest on these, correct? And I'm not sure if it gives an opportunity to select other for any other trade unions. Based upon registration and interest, we want to get every trade union out there, just if nothing else, to allow each company to determine whether joining a union for any particular project or through this redevelopment would make great business sense for you or not. It's not to say, you know, to go that way or not go that way. We understand that it's a definite commitment for either one job alone. So Janae, I'm not sure if you could speak a little bit more to the exit poll.
I can, and then I can take it from here. So you will see as part of the exit poll at the very end, so I encourage you to get to the end, there are 2 questions that ask you which information sessions you may have an interest in. You can select as many as you'd like or as few as you'd like. I know some people who may select the laborers and the carpenters union, but that is an option available to you. If you also select those, you can also go to the website to find where you would register to attend those sessions, being mindful that they are immediately after the Memorial Day weekend. So they are coming up quickly. So if you can take a moment to let us know your interest during the exit poll with the final 2 questions, that's where those are. That'd be great. And just remember that you can select as many or as few as you'd like. With that being said, Chad, if you can advance me. So we're going to talk a little bit about opportunities and ways to partner. I noticed we did get a few questions in the chat about if you're a subcontractor or a supplier, how much does your MBE participation count? I'm going to let Teresa give you that confirmatory response shortly. But then how do you link up with other direct bidders who are interested in either your supplies, transportation, or subcontracting services? So the first answer is you attend bidder sessions like today, and you allow us to share your information. That information is shared on the Laurel Hill Development website. It is shared with bidders who showed an interest in the project, just to make sure that we are spreading your information to as many people who are interested in going after the work, and so they know that you are available and looking to participate. Now, where those relationships go thereafter is between you and that bidder, but just making or reducing the barrier to entry in terms of having access to information or knowing who's bidding or who's interested. When you do attend the bidder sessions that are coming up, for those that are specific to individual packages, depending on the amount of information, PJ Dick has set aside a portion of that agenda for those who choose to sign up for M and WBE companies to share their company's abilities, kind of in a 1 moment or 1 minute elevator speech. So if you're a supplier, to kind of share very quickly with the group what supplies you offer. If you are a contractor, you can share very quickly your capabilities, but it's an opportunity in the COVID environment for you to get FaceTime during these bidder sessions to share a little bit more about your company. I already talked about allowing us to share your information. And last but not least, just reaching out to let us know if you're interested. There are quite a few folks on this call. You will get a follow-up email following this meeting for all of those who registered with our contact information and with the shared information. And if at any point in the process, if you have questions, please reach out to us. We will make our information as available as possible. We will answer you as quickly as possible, because all of us on this team understand the importance of providing information so that you can partner and access to opportunities. And so with that being said, as we advance to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about resources and training. And I'm going to ask Tristina from the Eastern Minority Supplier Diversity Council to take it over to talk about the first series of resources. Chad, next slide.
Hi, everybody. Janae, that went very quickly, so thank you for your introduction. I am Tristina Cash, and I'm Vice President of Corporate Relations and Strategic Partnerships for the Eastern Minority Supplier Development Council, also known as EMSDC. We're one of 23 affiliates or regional councils of the National Minority Supplier Development Council, and that's one of the considered one of the most powerful minority supplier organizations in corporate America. We're known as an ultimate connector, and our reputation shines when we are able to help corporations successfully contract with MBE firms. Through our collaborations, we have built partnerships with economic development program operators in our region. Our region, by the way, is Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Southern New Jersey, driving the agenda towards synergistic operation that yields maximum benefit to our clients. Through our private and public partnerships, we support the long-term sustainable growth of minority-owned businesses and our participation in the global supply chain. As compared across Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, all minority-owned businesses, EMSDC's certified MBEs yielded 35 times more in revenue than non-certified minority-owned businesses. And I'm happy to see some of our certified MBEs in tonight's meeting. EMSDC often partners with public and private entities to connect buyers with diverse suppliers. We've successfully partnered with corporations such as CVS, Ernst & Young, and Exelon, to name a few, to help recruit diverse firms. Buccini Poland and the partners of the Hill District Redevelopment Project sought out the EMSDC because we are part of a national network, which includes more than 12,000 certified MBEs, 13% of which are in the construction firms. And we also have a variety of partnerships with professional associations of minority and women-owned construction firms. We've been a part of Pittsburgh's business ecosystem for the past 40 years, and we have offices here in Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia. Next slide, please. As you can see from this slide, EMSDC also provides MBE certification for firms based in Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Southern New Jersey, and that certification is recognized nationwide. If your firm is not certified and you're interested in certification and your business meets the requirements noted on this PowerPoint slide, please make sure you get a copy of tonight's slide so that you can click through to the information about certification. If your business is not in one of these 3 states that I've already noted, but you do otherwise meet the requirements on the slide, reach out to us and we can refer you to the appropriate council so that you can begin your MBE certification application. And for those who are women-owned firms, you can also reach out to us and we can provide the proper referral. As you know, the importance of working with MBE firms includes working with qualified, vendors and suppliers who provide high quality service and produce high quality products in our region. 65% of the workforce of diverse firms are diverse, and we pride ourselves as such. And I just wanted to end this by saying that we're definitely looking forward to working with you. We know that EMC looks forward to working with you to assist you in the recruitment of regional and national diverse firms, MWBEs. And as someone who was born and raised in Pittsburgh and with roots in the Hill District, I want you to know that I look forward to the success of the project, and EMSDC is at your service. I look forward to any questions that you might have for me here in tonight's meeting, or if you might want to reach out to myself, or as you see on this slide, our Director of Certification, Jan Fleischman, and also our recertification coordinator, Darius Hurst Rodney. Thank you, Janae.
Thank you, Tristina. Chad, if you could move us forward. I'd like to ask Juan Garrett with RCI to talk a little bit about training opportunities that Riverside Innovation Center has for those business partners on the phone. Thank you, Juan.
Sure. Thank you very much, Janae, and everybody who's in attendance. I'll be quick because I know we want to get to the questions that are in the chat, but Riverside Center for Innovation, we want to help you build the capacity of your organizations to participate on this project through specialized training opportunities. Some of the things that we talked about earlier, how do you become a union signatory? We're talking about joint venturing and how RCI can help you partner through joint venturing and teaming opportunities. Also being able to allow you to utilize some of our free services, such as our pro bono legal clinic services, and also talk about some of the other ways that you can be certified. If not using the EMD-SDC, you're able to use some of the PAUCP certifications, and we're able to do that as well. We'll be running some specialized training programs. This is OSHA 10 will be happening beginning in June with our organization. And we're also going to be doing some additional workshops regarding insurance and bonding and things in the upcoming months. So please feel free to reach out to me at my email address right there. I'll hopefully, again, when you look at the slides, email me directly and we'll be able to connect you with all those types of programmings that you'll need to help your business participate on this project, whether it's today or whether it's in the next few years as well. So I'd like to turn it back over to you, Janae. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. I am now going to turn it over to Tracy McCann-Lewis. Tracy is the Deputy Chief Counsel for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but she is also going to share with us the programming and resources at the First Source Center. Tracy?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Janae. Yes, as Janae said, I'm with the Pittsburgh Penguins, but we are helping with the programming at the First Source Center. So our First Source Center, it is the resource hub for both workforce and for minority and women-owned businesses. It's located in the Hill House at 1835 Center Avenue. We will be on the first floor in room 140. We will have business support there for small businesses with computers, scanners, printers, and there'll also be available meeting space if you need that. In addition to that, we will have a regular cadence where resources are coming to the First Source Center for your convenience, such as PJ Dick. So Teresa will be coming to the First Source Center on a regular basis, at least once or twice a month, and doing actual tutoring sessions with regard to bidding packages. So giving you that information one-on-one. We will also have representatives from the University of Pittsburgh from their facilities department, and they will be providing information on the opportunities that are available at the University of Pittsburgh. So if there's a job that you're interested in on the Lower Hill that is not quite available, you may be able to get in and do some work with the University of Pittsburgh, and so vice versa. We'll be sharing the resource, which is your small business. And then the Urban Redevelopment Authority will also have some resources, and I think there's going to be more information about that. So again, we are the resource hub for both workforce and for MWBE opportunities at the Hill House First Source Center, room 140. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy. And last but not least, before we open up to Q&A, Pierce Robinson with the URA is going to talk a little bit about the resources that they're going to make available at the First Source Center, as well as resources that the URA has in general to offer around financing and available cash flow.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Pierce Robinson. I am the manager of diverse business solutions at the Urban Redevelopment Authority of Pittsburgh. For those who aren't familiar, the URA is the economic development arm of the city of Pittsburgh's government. Just for context, my role, I lead the workforce and career development initiatives for the authority, but also my team is responsible for doing all of the inbound inquiries as it relates to funding and financing for small businesses located in the city of Pittsburgh. Really quick, we were really excited to be on the ground level with helping to plan the First Source Center, and we will definitely have a presence there. We probably rotate up there probably twice a month just to sit in and offer our services for interested parties who are interested in some of our financing programs. Really quick, I'm just going to touch on our three main programs just for parties who may be interested. The program that we have right now that we're promoting very heavy is our Minority Business Growth and Recovery Loan. This is a product that is up to $100,000, and it can be used for pretty much anything. The product was developed to help businesses post-COVID to really recover and transition out of COVID to get their businesses, back on their feet and moving in the right direction. This program is specifically towards ethnic minorities, just so I just wanted to make note of that, but I can provide details about that later on. But two other products we have that are geared towards minorities but are open to everyone, including women-owned businesses, is our micro enterprise loan, which is a program between $5,000 to $30,000 that can be used for a variety of different business uses. And some of the things that differentiate the URA's lending compared to other financial institutions in the region is that our micro enterprise loan, as well as our ABLE loan, which is our accelerating business expansion loan, both of those could be used for businesses who are either starting up or businesses who are in their infancy. A lot of businesses, haven't necessarily, filed taxes, they're just getting started. So both of those products could be used, for those purposes as well. We try to help businesses, really get started, grow and expand within the city of Pittsburgh. So like I said, the microloan from $5,000 to $30,000. You can look at the ABLE loan as the big brother of the microloan, and that goes from $30,000 all the way up to $150,000. So information would be available for all of these programs. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. The only caveat we have is that we can only fund businesses that are registered or plan on being registered within the city of Pittsburgh, but don't let that be a deterrent from reaching out. The URA still has resources, and we connect you for financial and technical resources no matter where you're located. So please reach out, and I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierce, and thank you guys for all your patience as we try to kind of provide you a lot of information in a very short period of time.